Okay, a man who needs no introduction really, Tom Lee from Fundstrat Global Advisors. Thank you for joining us. How are you enjoying the conference so far?
Good, it's busy.
Yeah.
It's actually a great conference.
It seems like that, yes. So let's jump into it. So you recently suggested that Bitcoin could go as high as 40K if we breach 10,000. Why the 10,000 level?
Well, actually, to be more clear, what we talked about was we looked at past FOMO periods, so when does Bitcoin trade within 3% of its historical price levels? That was roughly $10,000 for Bitcoin. And looking at the past bull cycles, once you breach that, what we call FOMO level, Bitcoin typically rallies 200 to 400%. So that's how we would get to a theoretical 40,000. So it's not, I'm just to be clear, that's what likely FOMO looks like, but I'm not saying it's going to 40,000.
And if we ever did reach 40,000, what would, in your mind, be the potential pullback that we could see? Any correction? What kind of level of correction would we see?
I don't know. I mean, I think, cycles are changing because, there's going to be a broader base of holders of Bitcoin this time, right? Because there's more on-ramps and it's probably more mainstream. I think that plus the halvening is going to keep pullbacks relatively shallow.
And in terms of the upper limit for Bitcoin's price, it's a difficult one to answer, I guess, but do you have any idea of what your upper limit would be?
I don't know. I mean, it's not... I don't think that's the right way to look at crypto anyways. I mean, it's like someone asking, in 1999, what's the upside of an internet stock? Crypto's value comes from network value and adoption, and the number of holders is tiny today compared to Visa and MasterCard. I mean, there's 4.5 billion credit card accounts and very few crypto wallets, so I think there's a lot of upside.
Sure, and in terms of upside, the biggest present catalyst and the biggest future catalyst, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of positives out there today, but I think that, among the more important things happening in crypto is the halvening, because that's going to reduce supply. I think Facebook's launch of a cryptocurrency is very important because it really sort of validates the usefulness of digital-based money. Regulatory clarity is going to be very important, and there's no time frame for when that happens, but that's a positive. And I think generally mining is becoming very decentralized from both the ASICs and the energy side, so that's another positive catalyst.
And at the moment we're seeing kind of the stock markets fall due to the America-China trade war. What, in your opinion, how is that affecting cryptocurrencies?
Well, Bitcoin's pretty correlated to emerging market stocks, and they've done really well. So that's actually a tailwind, and the dollar is beginning to roll over, and that's generally positive for Bitcoin. So I think the macro is actually positive.
Okay, so it's a positive outlook, maybe not for the stock markets, but for Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, I think stocks are actually going to do pretty well this year anyways. So, no, they will do pretty well. Stocks doing well doesn't mean Bitcoin has to go down.
And yes, you said yourself we're in a bull market. How long do you foresee that bull market lasting?
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting how everyone's still kind of cautious and bearish, so I think it's positive, and it means we're kind of early.
And you've spoken about the Bitcoin halving. Do you think it's going to be as big of an impact as everyone thinks, or do you think we'll get a more placid rise?
I mean, from a supply-demand perspective, it's a big deal, right? Because you're cutting supply in half, and if you start to see more on-ramps like Facebook and other ways to buy Bitcoin, then you have demand rising. So it would be a positive overall.
And Facebook's global coin is coming into the space now. How do you think that's going to affect things, shake things up?
We'll have to see. I mean, I think there's very few scenarios where it's actually negative for crypto, so I think generally it's a positive development.
Okay, and we've heard a lot about a crypto call, reminiscent of the dot-com bubble. Do you think we're going to have it, or do you think we've already had it in 2018, a kind of mass exodus of cryptocurrencies?
I don't know. I mean, I think the space is still evolving. I mean, I just think everyone's more discerning, right? Things have to be useful. There's more regulatory oversight, so that's what's changed. But